We continue now at the top of Daf Dalet Amud Aleph in Meseches Chagigah. This is Chagigah Daf 4a. On the previous Amud, the Gemara had quoted a brisa about what makes somebody considered a shota, considered an imbecile, and the brisa had three possibilities. The brisa said if you go out alone at night, and the brisa said if you tear your clothing, and if you sleep in a Beis HaKvaros, if you sleep in a cemetery. Now Rav Huna said on the previous Amud, you actually have to do all three of those things in order to be considered a shota, and the reason he gave was that each one individually, there can always be some excuse why it was done, but if you do all three, it's Kamisha Nagach Shor Chamor V'Gamal. Then it's similar to an animal that gores an ox, and it gores a donkey, and it gores a camel. V'nasa muad lakol. Such an ox, it becomes a muad for all animals. We assume that it regularly will gore all different kinds of animals. Rashi over here says, Kemosha Nagach Shor Chamor V'Gamal de Babakama Tenasa muad lakol. The halacha there is, since it was three different kind of animals, it's now a muad for all animals. V'lo amin adshe muad b'shlosha b'chol min v'min. We don't say that it has to be a muad three times by the shore, and three times by the chamor, and three times by the gamal. Tehoel v'huad b'shlosha negichosav, since again it's been warned and it's gored three times, so to speak. B'shlosha meaning with three different kinds of animals. Ein ze makbid al min echad afkan lo bo shlosha devarim liyadu b'vasachas elakulan misham shtus. So again, we're not going to say that you have to have on one min. We're not going to say that, since it was with three separate minim, it's enough. And so too over here, the same thing. Even though there might be an excuse by each thing individually, but if you do all three, then we assume it's because of shtus. We assume it's because the person is deranged, because the person is an imbecile. And the Gemara now says, Amar Rav Papa says, Ishmiel le Rav Huna hadatanya. If Rav Huna would have heard the following brisa. The brisa says, Ezo shota, what's considered a shota? Zeha ma'abid kol ma shenosnim lo. It's somebody who destroys everything that you give to him. So have a haderbe, he would have retracted his position, and he would have understood that even with one thing, you can be considered a shota. As Rashi over here says, Ishmiel le hadatanya demashma bedover echad machzikin oso b'shota. Have a haderbe, clearly from this brisa, even with one thing, you're considered to be a shota. The Gemara wants to clarify this. The Gemara says, Iboilu, they have the following question. Ki have a haderbe mi mekareya ksuso hu have a haderbe. Are we just saying that he would have retracted by the tearing of the clothing? Because tearing of the clothing and destroying everything that people give you is basically the same thing. The dami laha, those are compared to one another. They're similar to each other. And therefore, maybe he would have just retracted on that one and said that one alone is enough to make you a shota. O dilma mikulu have a hader. Maybe he would have retracted from all three and said every single one of them, whether it's tearing the clothing, whether it's going out alone at night, whether it's sleeping in a cemetery, and all those things, if it would just be one of them, that would be enough to make you a shota. We totally retract because of this brisa, and the Gemara says, Teiku, we will leave that as a question. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, V'tumtum v'androgonus v'chulu. Tumtum and androgynous are again people that are not clearly identifiable as being male. By tumtum, the area is covered over, therefore it's not clear. It's a suffix whether the person is a male or female. By androgynous, the person has both simanim, both male and female, again, can't clearly be qualified as a male. So we said you have to be a male in order to be chayiv and aliyah l'regel, and therefore women and tumtum and androgynous, they're all pater from aliyah l'regel. So the Gemara says, Tana Rabban, and the rabbis taught, Zachor, let's say it wouldn't have said Zachorcha, but it would have just said Zachor, the males, Lahotzias Hanashim, that would have excluded the females. Zachorcha, when it says it in a different language, Zachorcha, Lahotzi, Tumtum V'androgynous, that comes to tell us to exclude a Tumtum and androgynous, and Kol Zachorcha, when it says Kol Zachorcha, the word Kol is usually in inclusion, L'Rabos says HaKatanim, that comes to include the minors, to include the Katanim. We'll take a look at Rashi over here, Zachor, Im Nemar Zachor, Ein L'chol Lahotzi Elos Hanashim. If it said that, so it would only be excluding the women. The word zechorcha is coming to exclude even a tumtum and androgynous. And so the Gemara now says, Amar Mar, the master said, quoting what we just said above, Zachor lahotzias hanashim. If it would have said Zachor instead of Zachorcha, so then that would have excluded the females. What do you mean? What do you need a pasuk? Halam alikra. What do we need a pasuk for? Michdi, let us see. Mitzvah sasei shazman gramahu. The idea of aliyah l'regel, the mitzvah of re'iyah, is a mitzvah sasei shazman grama. It's a positive commandment that's time bound. It's only at the regalim. B'chol mitzvah sasei shazman grama nashim peturos. The general rule is when you have mitzvah sasei shazman grama, women are pater. So why would we need a pasuk rather to exclude women? And so the Gemara says, no, itzterach, you do need a pasuk. Because I might have thought, Neilif re'iyah mehakel. Maybe I'll take the word re'iyah. It says re'iyah by the case, again, by aliyah l'regel, and it says re'iyah by hakel. Uses the same kind of word, and therefore I would say it should be compared to hakel. Ma'alahala nashim chayavos, just like by hakel we mentioned earlier that women are chayiv and hakel. Afkan nashim chayavos, so too over here you would have thought that when it comes to aliyah l'regel, nashim are also chayiv. Kamash malan, that's why the pasuk comes to teach us, and we need the pasuk to teach us that women are excluded. And the Gemara said, Amar Mar, the master said, Zechurcha lahotzi tumtum v'androgonus. Since it says Zechurcha, that comes to exclude a tumtum and androgonus. B'shlam androgonus itzrich. I understand you need to exclude androgonus. Sal gadai techamina, because I might have thought, hold v'isleit tzad zachrus. Since he has the simonim of both a male and female, he has a tzad of male to him. So l'chayev, so I would have thought maybe he should be chayev. Kamash malon, and so that's what the pasuk is coming to teach us. Debirya bifnei atzmo, that androgonus is considered its own creation, not considered male or female, and therefore excluded from the mitzvah of aliyah l'regel. Gemara says, Ela tumtum, but one second. By a tumtum, sveiko, that by a tumtum, it's not a situation where he's a bria b'fnei atzmo. The situation is, it's a suffix. We don't know whether this individual is a male or female. Mi itzdarich krolam u'ute sveika. Do we need a pasuk to exclude someone that's a suffix? It doesn't make sense. A suffix is a suffix. We just don't know whether he's chayiv or not. There's nothing to do with a pasuk excluding him. And so the Gemara says, Amar Abaye says, Kishebeitzav mi bachutz. We're talking about a situation where the beitzim of this individual are on the outside. And we'll take a look at Rashi over here. Rashi says, Asa krolam u'ute sveika. Do we need a pasuk to exclude someone that's a doubt? Bitmi, it's a wonder. Lamali kro. What do we need a pasuk for? Mehechet teisad lan l'chiyuve. From why should we obligate the person? We have a doubt whether he's obligated. It means he's not obligated. And so the Gemara answers, Kishebeitzav mi bachutz. What that means is that the beitzim of the individual, that part of the anatomy, is visible, and therefore, in that sense, we know that he is a male. Ela shehagid tamun, but the other part of that private area of the anatomy is hidden. The gid is hidden. The havadai zachru. So this individual is for sure actually a male. It's not really a suffix by the particular tumtum the pasuk is excluding. Hilka chitzrich kralamute. Therefore, the pasuk needs to exclude this individual. In other words, you have a situation over here where, in terms of simonim, you can clearly identify this individual as male, but you have some simonim that are visible, and you have some simonim that are not visible. And therefore, since you have some that are not visible, the pasuk specially comes to exclude this individual and say he's not chayiv. And the Gemara continues, Amar Mar, the master said, again quoting the Brisa above, Kol zechurcha l'rabos esakatanim. It says Kol zechurcha. The word Kol comes to include minors. So the Gemara now says, Vatanan, but didn't we learn in the Mishnah, Chutz me cherashota v'katan, that on the contrary, cherashota and katan is actually excluded from the mitzvah of aliyah l'regel. So how come we have a pasuk here including a katan? We have the Mishnah saying the katan is excluded. Amar Abaye says, Lokash, it's not difficult. Kan b'katan shegiya l'chinuch, kan b'katan shelo egiya l'chinuch. It depends. If the katan has reached the age of chinuch, he's reached the age where we're supposed to start educating him, so then he's chayiv in this mitzvah. But if he hasn't reached the age of chinuch, he's not chayiv. But the Gemara says that doesn't make any sense. Katan shegiya l'chinuch d'rabbanan. When it comes to a katan that reaches the age of chinuch, that's only d'rabbanan. The concept of chinuch, that we have to train katanim in mitzvahs, is a din d'rabbanan. So why are we learning it from a pasuk? And so the Gemara says, Enochinami, indeed you're correct. Ukra asmachta b'yalma. The pasuk is really just an asmachta. We're relying the din d'rabbanan on a pasuk. It's not really learned from the pasuk. It's just an asmachta for this halacha. Really, it's the regular din d'rabbanan of chinuch. But the Gemara continues via lakrola mayasa. But according to this, what is the pasuk used for? Meaning, what is the word kol used for? If kol does not really include ketanim, because that was just an asmachta, so what is it coming to include? And so the Gemara says lecheda acherim. It's coming to include what the acherim say. The Tanya, as we learned in a braysa, acherim omrim. Others say hamekametz v'hamitzarif nechoshes v'haborsi. Mekametz will be explained by Rashi. Mitzarif nechoshes also will be explained by Rashi. Borsi is somebody who tans hides. All of these individuals peturim min hariyah. They're all patur from Re'iyah, they're patur from the mitzvah of going to the Beis HaMikdash during the regel. Mishum shenemar, because the pasuk says, Kol zechurcha, all of your males are going to come up to the Beis HaMikdash, and what that means is, Misha yachol lalosim kol zechurcha. It means somebody who's able to come up together with everyone else. Yatzuelo, that comes to exclude these individuals, she'enon ru'uyin lalosim kol zechurcha. They're not able to come up with everyone else. The idea is that people actually avoid the company of people who are involved in these kinds of work, because these kinds of work are messy and they're smelly, and therefore these people, again, they're kind of isolated from other people, therefore they're not obligated in the mitzvah of aliyah l'regel. Rashi over here says, ha-mekamitz, what's mekamitz? Mefarish b'Meseches ksuvos, ha-mekamitz biyodo tzoas klavim. It actually means you're scrimping the dung of dogs, and you're using it for your work. V'yomer ani, Rashi says, I say, ki l'saken ben orus, they would use this dung to help for the tanning of the hides. Shekorin kordavan shema'avdin oson b'tzoas klavim. They would tan the hides in the tzoas klavim. So again, that's messy and smelly work. V'hamitzaref nechoshes, that has to do with somebody who's working with copper. Shemitzarfo b'makom shechofer noso min hakarka. They would actually do this. They would make the copper in the actual area where they dug it out of the earth. Like it's explained in Meseches Ksubas. Again, like we said, all of these are cases where the people, the odor is bad. They're not able to go up together with the other people who are going up for the regel. And we'll just note over here the reference to Metzaref Nechoshes specifically is to people who were melding the copper, again, in the areas where they extracted the copper from the earth. The Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, "Noshem va'avodim she'inon mishuchrorim v'chulu." It said that women are excluded from aliyah l'regel, and also slaves that are not free, so they're also patur from the mitzvah. So the Gemara says, "B'shlama noshem keda'amran." I understand women. We just explained that above. Ela avodim inolim, but where's the source that avodim they're not chayiv in the mitzvah of aliyah l'regel? Amar Ravuna says Amar Krab because the pasuk says El Pnei Ha'adon Hashem. You're going to go to the master Hashem. Mishe'ein lo ela adon echad. It means the only person who's obligated is somebody who only has one master. Yotzad Zed that comes to exclude this case of an eved sheyesh lo adon acher because he has another master. Again, he's an eved to a particular master, so he's not chayiv in this mitzvah of aliyah regel. So the Gemara says, 1 second, Talam Alikra. What do we even need a pasuk for? Mechdi, let us see. Kol mitzvah sha'isha chayeves ba eved chayev ba. There's a general rule: any mitzvah that a woman is chayiv in, an eved is chayiv in. And kol mitzvah she'ein ha'isha chayeves ba, any mitzvah that a woman is not chayiv in, ein ho eved chayiv ba. So then the eved is not chayiv in it. So over here we've already excluded women from the mitzvah of aliyah l'regel, and so therefore the same thing should be true by the avodim. The Gomar lo lo misha. It's actually learned out a gzeira shaveh lo from isha. So we have a general gzeira shaveh to learn out this idea of comparing an eved to an isha from the gzeira shaveh of lo. So again, why do we need a special pasuk El Pnei Ha'adon Hashem to exclude the eved? And so the Gemara says, Amar Ravina says, Lo nitzracha, the pasuk is not needed, Elo, L'misha chetzio eved v'chetzio ben choron. It's only needed for the case where a person is half slave, half free. So the pasuk comes to exclude even that individual from this mitzvah. And you're right, if it would be a full eved, it would be obvious because it would be compared to a woman. And the Gemara says, Dekanami, we'll bring a proof to this as well, Dekatani nashim va'avodim she'inon mishachrorin. The proof is that the Mishnah phrases it as women and slaves that are not free. What does it mean that they're not free? If it means they're not free at all, listen to avodim stama, just say avodim. As the Mishnah says avodim, by definition, an eved, a slave, is somebody that's not free. What's this language of an eved that's not free? Elalav, rather is it not she'enon mishachrorin legamri? What it really means is it's a slave that hasn't been totally freed. Umay ninu, and what would that apply to? Misha chetzio eved v'chetzio ben choron. The pasuk is coming specifically to exclude somebody who's half slave, half free. Shema mina, and the Gemara says, indeed, you see from this that this is the case. And we'll take a look at Rashi over here. Lo meisha. There's a gzeira shaveh. It says the word lo by isha ksiv hacha v'chasav lo u'ksiv hasam ochufasha lo nitan lo. It says again the chasav lo, talking about sefer krisus by a person's wife, uses the word lo, and also by an eved it uses the word lo. And so therefore again we make this gzeira shaveh. And the Gemara says lo nitzracha v'chulu. No, we need it for a half slave. That the half slave is excluded from the Mishnah, from the mitzvah rather. And Rashi points out miu nevertheless la Mishnah Achrona. According to the Mishnah Achrona is what was mentioned on Daf Beis Amud Beis. That's when they had decided that when it comes to somebody who is a half slave, half free, we actually force the master to fully free them, and they're considered fully free. So he says, according to the Mishnah Achrona, Hoel uv'yadeinu lachuf es rabo, since we have the power to force the master to free such a slave who's already half free, chayiv. So then actually the half free slave is going to be chayiv in aliyah regel de'ein lo ela adon echad, because now he really doesn't have that second master, because we can force the master to free him at any time. He's basically considered fully free. In other words, Rashi's saying it's a technicality. Nowadays that we hold like the Mishnah Achrona, that when somebody's half free, we force the master to fully free them, so there's really no such thing as half free. That's considered fully free, and therefore they're going to be chayiv in aliyah regel. But before that was true, before the Mishnah Achrona, so an individual who is half free, half slave, would not be chayiv in aliyah regel. And the Gemara continues at the two dots, quoting the Mishnah, v'hachiger, v'hasuma, v'chola, v'hazaken, somebody who's lame, somebody who's blind, somebody who's ill, somebody who's elderly, they're all patur from the mitzvah of aliyah regel. And the Gemara says, Tanu Rabban, and the rabbis taught, regalim, when it says in the pasuk, the regalim, talking about the 3 times, the 3 holidays that you go up for aliyah regel, so we darshan raglayim means to say legs, prat lebale kabin, that comes to exclude somebody with artificial legs. If you have artificial legs, you're excluded from the mitzvah. Davar another explanation, regalim, what does it mean regalim? Prat lechiger, ulechola, ulesuma, ulezaken, that comes to exclude someone who's lame, or sick, or blind, or elderly. V'l'she'eno yachol lalos baraglav, and also anyone who can't go up with with their feet, not able to walk up. So the Gemara says, what's that coming to include? When it says somebody that can't walk up with their feet, what does that come to include? We're already listing people who are lame and sick and elderly. So the Gemara says, Amar Rava says, Lasuye, it comes to include, and we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Dalid Amud Beis.